All right. Did you guys see that video? The Wisconsin high school teacher, well, dad. Okay. So the students were graduating and it's a black superintendent out there, right? And the daughter, his white daughter, was getting ready to, receive her diploma or whatnot. She was getting ready to shake other people's hands. And he literally got up there and pushed the black person out the way. And I'm like, well, what the hell is he doing? Like, that's giving very weird. And people are alleging that the dad is a racist and that he did not want that man's hands to touch his daughter. Wiki wacko is what it's giving. Let us hop over here on TMZ, because it looks like TMZ is trying to say that the man gave a very interesting reason as to why he did what he did. Okay, so let us go ahead and check it out. All right, they're saying Wisconsin high school dad told cops why he was rushed. Okay, or why he rushed the stage. The superintendent gets a TRO. How fucking embarrassing. This is your daughter's moment and you turn and make the moment more about you than you make it about the daughter. You raggedy ass motherfucker. I would have got a TRO on him too. But does he really, does it matter? His child is graduating. Does he have any more kids that's going to be coming through to the school or something? Okay, but you got a TRO, child. Embarrassing. The dad who rushed his daughter's graduation stage to prevent her from shaking a superintendent's hand actually told cops why he did it. And it doesn't look like he mentioned race at all. Now, according to the police report submitted by the PD, they're saying cops say the father was questioned by officers that night. And in terms of rationale, they claim he told them he had some kind of personal history with the superintendent, the black school official that he shoved away. Okay. See, he just jumped in there, cut behind, pushed the man out the way, and the daughter, look at his daughter. Please pay attention to her specifically. This right here was it for me. Number one, she did look confused, like what the hell is going on? Like, oh my God. But this right here is giving, not now, Dad, not at my graduation. Like, it's also giving again. It's giving, this hand motion for me gives, my dad always shows his ass. It's what it gives. And likely has always showed his ass specifically with black folks. But I feel like her daddy just often shows his motherfuckerness and does the absolute most. Like, this girl is so embarrassed. But the actions is giving, he do this shit all the time. Baby girl didn't know what to do. She wanted to walk forward or what? Do I go or do I wait? So she just walked off. Like, how fucking embarrassing. Child. And then they telling the folks to sit down. But I don't know because this is the superintendent walking back. The black man behind this white lady, he walking back. So I don't know if he pushed him the hell up off him, if some other people got him up off him, or what the hell was going on. Okay. But the superintendent is walking back, ready to get back started. Girl, that is some crazy right here. He rushed up there. Do y'all see this? And if I could figure out a way to sue him just for a little piece, even if it's for a little piece of 10,000, I probably would have figured that out too. Not only am I gonna get a TRO, but don't you put your hands on me. Don't put your hands on me, okay? And I would sue him for a little piece. All right, they're saying per the docs obtained by TMZ, the dad told police he had past issues with Rainey and he disliked him. You can dislike whoever the fuck you want to dislike, right? If you disliked his ass so much, maybe you should have moved to a different district, bitch. I don't know, okay? But you already know how this process was going to go and how this man was going to be up there shaking your daughter's hand. At the end of the day, he wasn't doing anything with you. He wasn't doing anything directly with you. It would have just been the shake of a hand with your daughter. And honestly, I feel like the daughter could have refused the hand. Honestly, if she about to get her to, now she could pull her hand back. Now, I'm not really opposed to that now. But you bringing your ass up out that stage, out them stands to hop on that damn stage to cause a ruckus, sir? Absolutely not. Okay. So if the daughter wanted to like not hold his hand or shake his hand and just keep going, I feel like she had every right to in my personal. But your issue is your issue with him, not your child's. And you didn't care about how this was going to make her look. And it's the gag for me is you thought that you were going to be embarrassing him. And you didn't. You embarrassed your motherfucking child. And I feel so bad for her. And the little girl about can't even express her emotions to her dad to tell him how he made her feel. Because he probably is like, shut up. Everything I do for you is in the best interest of you. So she can't even about to express, Dad, that was really embarrassing. This is how I felt. She couldn't say nothing. Okay? About scolded the hell out of her. Okay. Superintendent giving a little piece of cute. Okay. Is you hating on that man for another reason? Superintendent giving a piece of cute. Superintendent walk back like swag is still here. Okay. The cops go on to note that the dad was vague upon further questioning, and eventually the cops say they scolded the father about his actions, telling him the way he conducted himself wasn't acceptable. Dr. Rainey Briggs. Let me tell you something, Mr. Briggs. The girls is finna be in your DM, sir. Okay? I'm just letting you know what's finna go down. Because if you ain't got no piece of a wife or a whole wife, listen, they finna be on you, sir. You don't win a piece of famous. You know they're gonna be trying to console you and stuff. If you hurt, lay your head in the bosom. I'm just trying to get you prepared for what's coming your way. Now, the father was apparently asked if he was remorseful over what he'd done, and the cops claim he said yes, but only for his daughter's sake. This man, he says he was remorseful only for his daughter's sake. I find that hard to believe because I'm just like, you would have thought about your daughter's sake and her feelings before you went up there and did some shit like that to embarrass her. They said, so it sounds like he's bitter over whatever beef he and the superintendent had. I don't know. Did the superintendent hunch on your lady or something? Like, what's the real beef? Because, a lot of times, I mean, it depends on the type of school. Because, I thought superintendents were over like an entire district. But I feel like if you have like a private school or maybe a charter school, don't they call superintendents something else? It's not necessarily, I think that can't there be superintendents within the school if it's like private or something like that or whatnot? Let me know because I haven't been, but that's my assumption. Y'all let me know. But for public schools, I thought they're over like an entire like district or whatnot. So, and typically there aren't much interactions with the superintendents. And matter of fact, I wonder what school they said Wisconsin High School. So that would be like a public school, right? Or did they not say? Maybe they're just saying a Wisconsin high school. I thought there was a high school called Wisconsin. But maybe they're not labeling the school. Wisconsin High School State Baseball. Yeah, that's an actual school, right? Baseball state tournament. So I would think that, okay, they call him a headmaster. Thank you for that, Ashley. Yeah, I don't think this man had any direct dealings with this superintendent. And I wouldn't be surprised if the man didn't even know who the hell he was. But you having issues. I feel like he lying for sure. The cops also note that based on their convo with the dad, they believe he planned to do this ahead of time. Anyway, the dad was ejected from the premises and the officer decided to issue a summons on a disorderly conduct charge. What a clown. Oh, this is the school. I'm sorry. So they were saying like a Wisconsin school, but it's a Baraboo High School. I feel like they listed that earlier in the thing. Okay, Baraboo High School. It's a nice looking high school there. All right. They did say that Mr. Rainey himself filed a restraining order in the documents. He does not get him into personal history between himself and the dad. In fact, he notes that his relationship to the father is random. So on his face, it seems he was taken aback. I feel like that man don't know you. This man do not know you, sir. He don't know you at all. They go on to say Rainey describes the incident in the docs, claiming the father said, "You are not going to touch my effing." Oh, wow. He said that. You are not going to touch my fucking daughter. Oh, wow. Your daughter must be like, I mean, what's going on? Is it because you racist? High key, probably what it is. Is it because the man is handsome and your daughter 18, 19? And to some folks that is legal, even though to me that is not necessarily legal. Okay. And you was feeling a way about that. Like, what's the really giving? That's so weird. Okay. Rainey says he pushed the dad away and told him to keep his hands off of him before they broke up. And the dad was whisked away. I could see that, child. I could see him pushing, not saying keep your hands on me. I think he said, "Get your mother hands off me." Hold on one second. Don't you put your hands on me. Period. The superintendent was seeking court-ordered protection and he got it temporarily. A hearing is scheduled for later this month. All right, so that's what's going on over there. You had that man sitting up there lying. Okay, talking about they got past history. Dr. Breeze, like, I don't know that motherfucker. Don't put that shit on me. I don't know shit about that man. Okay, period. But y'all can leave y'all thoughts and comments on that piece down below. Okay, let us slide over. Hey, y'all, before we go real quick, I do have an update to this situation with the superintendent versus the crazy daddy. We definitely have to get into some things because the superintendent has now spoken out. So let us go ahead and get right on into that. Okay, so we're over here on the Daily Mail and I do want to check out what they're saying. All right, so they're saying that the Baraboo high school superintendent breaks his silence to accuse father of ruining his daughter's graduation after the man stormed the stage to stop him from shaking his daughter's hand. Now, the Wisconsin school superintendent, who was shoved by a father who rushed the stage during the high school graduation ceremony, was called by the parents' lawyer offering remorse for his actions. But the Baraboo superintendent, Dr. Rainey Briggs, is not in a forgiving mood. Okay. In an exclusive interview on Tuesday, Briggs said that he isn't ready to forgive the actions that shattered a joyous occasion for the entire graduating class and their families. Listen, I agree 1000%. I feel like they offered that apology to one, save the father's reputation if he has any out there in that district. In addition to that, I feel like possibly to get the charges dropped, if any at all. If you're willing to accept an apology, would you be willing to get these charges dropped? Absolutely not. Her dad didn't want to drop any issue and wanted to move forward to try and embarrass me and prevent me and halt me from my duty, only to embarrass yourself. Absolutely not. So they go on, and it looks like Briggs says during the interview, he says an apology just doesn't make things go away. Briggs has yet to speak with the father, Matt Eady, since the May 31st confrontation when the irate dad pushed Briggs aside to stop him from shaking hands with his daughter as she was about to receive her diploma. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. All right. So I do believe that there's a video that we'll get to later where the dad is going to share his thoughts, okay, with the police. All right. So they're saying Edie, who's 49, was escorted out of the building following the confrontation and arrested for disorderly conduct. Briggs has since obtained a restraining order, okay, preventing Edie from having any further contact with him. But on Monday, Edie's lawyer called Briggs, apparently trying to smooth things over. Okay. Now, Briggs says, I haven't heard directly from Mr. Edie, but I did have a phone call yesterday with his attorney. The outreach was really to indicate that Matthew, understands his mishap in terms of what he did and what he's caused, and that he's remorseful. Now, first of all, I don't believe that Matthew is remorseful. What I do believe is that this is how the attorney felt, and he called on behalf of Matthew, knowing that that's not how he felt. All right. He says, I took that as some form of apology, but that's not something I think at this time amounts to a solid apology from my perspective, according to Mr. Briggs. All right. He says, and even so, even a direct, explicit apology wouldn't make things right. I don't think an apology and quote unquote, I'm sorry makes this go away, because there's a lot of harm that was caused. My heart goes out to, number one, his daughter, and to those 250 other students that were in this space. This is a moment in time for them that they'll never get back the way they had hoped for this to go. Okay. He says that was the walk across the stage with excitement, feeling like they've learned a lot, feeling like they'd experienced some amazing teachers. That's all this was. He says that was all to some degree pushed aside that particular night. Okay, so he didn't care about the students and their moment. He was focused on having his own moment. Okay, and that was his problem. But we're going to get into what this audio is saying. All right.
When I heard the gunshot,
of course, we got to get into an ad first, and then once that's over, we'll definitely go ahead and check out what the father is lying about to the officers, because I already don't believe him.
Pop up on the stage right in front of graduation. Like, you obviously knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, was it planned?
Yeah. I walked out when he was graduating to speak.
I get that, but you obviously knew your daughter was going to go on stage. She's going to interact with them.
They don't want him to be able to shake her hand, because he doesn't deserve it from her. And all the she went through in this district.
I'm not aware of allegations where Dr. Graves doing anything to your daughter specifically.
Look at this.
No, it wasn't him specifically.
Okay.
She was expelled for doing the same thing that was done to her, and nothing happened to the previous people. And we had to have a meeting in there with him, the school board.
Like an expulsion hearing.
Yeah. And he rolled his eyes when I brought up the fact that the same thing happened to her.
What is the same thing that happened to her that you keep saying? That's what I am confusion about. And then he's talking about he had a meeting, a quote unquote expulsion meeting with his daughter and the school board. I don't even believe that. And even then, I don't think he was the only person that made whatever decision. The point is, even if it was an expulsion meeting, the girl was never kicked out of school. She literally graduated. Okay. So what the hell is this man? Girl, I can't.
And you.
Again, I didn't see what happened, so I don't know what the physicality of it was. Was it like a body block? I mean, what am I talking about?
Exactly. That's all it was.
Was there pushing? Was there shoving?
Not till he got put his hands on me. I didn't come up to him like, knock him out or push him down or.
You can't.
Will y'all hear this man up here lying, saying that he didn't touch the principal until the principal touched him? Sir, listen, had you not run up on that stage, it would have been no issue to begin with. You ran up on that stage to get some action, and that action was then returned to you. Okay? So whether he touched you first or not, let's entertain the thought that he did. Had you not got up on that stage and got in a place that you were not supposed to be in, because you should have been in the audience, none of this would have happened. You brought this on yourself, and now you're giving excuses. Now you're giving excuses as to justify your actions like you're in the right. That makes no sense, honey. That's just, but of course, that's what you're going to do because you don't want to go to jail. All right, let's keep going. They said the reason for the confrontation still remains unclear. Edie spoke during a police interview about the school expelling his daughter and blamed school officials for her treatment. So if that's how you felt, why you didn't go at the other people that were standing up there getting ready to shake your daughter's hand? Because I'm sure that if the superintendent had anything to do with her being expelled, if that was the case, I'm sure one or two other people standing up there shaking her hand about had something to do with it too. So yeah, that don't make it like he just lying. Okay. And then even the officer sat up there and told him, and he said, listen, I haven't heard of anything to where Briggs has done anything to your daughter. And if he was aware, I feel like if this is the officer, I'm not sure who this person is sitting in, investigator, whoever he's sitting in here with the suit on, I feel like that person probably would have been aware that, his daughter was expelled and that's why you confronted him or whatever. But he said he have no information on that. There's been no knowledge of that man having anything to do with your daughter. Like, you're just a liar is what is given. So they're saying Edie spoke during a police interview about the school expelling his daughter and blamed school officials for her treatment. But Edie, who is white, only targeted Briggs, the one black administrator among several on the stage, leading many observers to speculate that race was a factor. Okay, the optics don't look good, said Briggs. The optics are what people around the world have gotten to see, and it's caused them to formulate in their minds what was behind this situation. But ultimately, Mr. Edie is the only one that could tell you whether it was racial or not. And he repeated his assertion that he didn't recognize Edie when he came charging at him. He says, I have not personally had any interactions with this man. I wouldn't have been able to pick this guy out of any crowd. It wasn't until after that I was able to pull his name up in the system to see who this was. Briggs said this was the most serious of several threats he's received since becoming superintendent in a predominantly white school district. That is exactly what I was thinking. I was wondering, are the people feeling away because everybody around you appears to be white and you are the only black one, and you handsome at that? Okay, and you handsome at that. So they're probably really in their feelings over there. All right. So they go on to say, of the nearly 3,000 students, he estimated that only about 3 to 4% are black. He was hired in July of 2021. At around the same time, the district settled a lawsuit filed by the family of a black student claiming she had undergone several years of racial harassment in school. All right. This, I believe Briggs says there was a message the day before I started that the case was settled. Okay. So before he started, the case was settled. And I guess to smooth things over, they decided to hire a black superintendent. And this man who's given, heavy on the racist, decided that he was going to show his R's. Okay. That's what went down. Decided he was going to show his R's. They said in 2018, the district made news when a virtually all-white group of 60 Baraboo junior prom kids were photographed giving what appeared to be giving a Nazi white power hand salute. Students and the photographer disputed this, saying they were merely waving goodbye to their parents. Try good night. I would have to pull that image up just so I could see it. Baraboo. Somebody left the words of how to say this name of the school in the comments. Please forgive me if I'm butchering it, honey, because I forgot how you said it. But anywho, they're saying during his tenure, Briggs said he's been subjected to nearly a half a dozen specific threats, mostly from parents, some racially motivated, others not. Okay, let me interject here, and I just want to say this real quick. Like, TMZ is so fucking full of shit. And I mean, because I was reading their article on this first, and they referenced Daily Mail, which is why I came over to the source, to Daily Mail, to see what they said, because they said that Briggs spoke with Daily Mail. But all of this juicy detail we're getting from Daily Mail, of course, TMZ did not provide that. Okay, I feel like they made it seem like it was an issue for Briggs to not be open to accepting the apology of this other man. But y'all didn't give all of this additional context. And then from the video on your page, I see you chopped it up and left some stuff out. And then some of the quotes that you used for him, you didn't put the full quotes. Like, TMZ, I'm on to you. Y'all a mess. Okay. But anywho, let's keep going. They said shortly after starting, he said a resident confronted him in a local park, yelling at him for the district's mask policy during COVID. There's been phone calls. There's been Facebook messages to his personal account where there's been threats like, we're coming for you, things of that nature. He says, I've always sent them on to the police department. He says, he's a married father. Girl, y'all too late for y'all ladies. I thought y'all was gonna go over there and get him, girl. This man is a married father of 3. He said these incidents don't point to a widespread problem in the district. And see, let me tell you, I'm so glad that God is on his side, because it's one thing to be experiencing this within your county and your district in the small area that you're in, and then it's another one for it to be broadcast as big as it has been. So now we get to see. So now people probably gonna have their little microscope over there on y'all people over there in Wisconsin, honey. All right. He goes on to say it's a predominantly white school district. Do I think it's consisting of students of color feeling like they don't belong here? Well, I think there are some pockets of that possibly. He says that's part of my job is making sure that's not the case, making sure there's professional development of staff, making sure there's a sense of belonging for every kid in this district and staff in this district, regardless of their race. At a school board meeting Monday night, members of the board stood up to read aloud their statement condemning Edie's actions and defending the superintendent. Okay, 2 of the police officers attended to keep the peace should there be any more flare-ups, but of course there weren't. All right, they said Briggs did not attend this meeting, but he has no intention of stepping down from his leadership role, and that's just giving on P. Okay, so I don't know who you thought you was scaring. Okay, I don't know who you thought you was scaring, that star, as you was rushing this man off, as you stressing your daughter the hell out. But he said he's not finna leave, okay? While Briggs said he'd never met Edie, Edie suggested otherwise in the interview with the police, okay? He says that Edie says he didn't want him to be able to shake his daughter's effing hand because he did not deserve it at all. This SHI, because of the SHI that she went through in the district, the way he acted when my daughter was almost charged, was a bunch of BS. He shook his head and rolled his effing eyes. Like what? When she was charged? What? I don't believe none of what he's talking about. But now I'm questioning if your daughter was a part of the students that was doing the Nazi stuff. They said it was about 60 juniors at the time. But then no, that couldn't have been the case because that was in 2018 and now she's a senior. So that wouldn't have been the same. So I'm not sure what he's talking about, saying the man rolled his eye. I don't believe that her daddy's saying at all. The father claimed that Briggs initiated the physical contact, and we heard that, saying that it was Briggs. I didn't touch him until he touched me, and we all got the video, so we know that he's a liar. However, surveillance footage shows that Edie jumped up on the stage. He grabbed Briggs' arm and walked him towards the curtain. Let me tell you something. I appreciate Daily Mail for laying this out word by word and getting things together to show what's really true. Okay, they say Edie denied pre-planning the episode and told police that he even walked out when Briggs gave his speech. He says at the start of the nearly 2-minute long interaction, Edie is seen with his arms crossed and pacing by the bleachers. Oh, wow. So you was already, you was pressed about it. You was already knowing what you was finna do. As his daughter moves through the procession, Edie rushed in front of the stage, clapping for his daughter, then leaped over the steps to reach Briggs. After pulling the superintendent to the back, the 2 men exchange words, and Briggs pushes Edie away. That is when Baraboo High School principal Steve Considine, I think that's how you say it, seen wearing a tan jacket, inserts himself between the 2 men. When I hear Dr. Briggs say something to the effect of "get your hands off of me," that's when I turn my head and see there was some sort of scuffle. That's what the principal said. That's when I went in front and inserted myself between Dr. Briggs and this guy, Mr. Eddie. I don't know his name. And then he was pushing back against me. He says if he would have just ran away, I wouldn't need to. But he was definitely pushing back, almost like he was trying to get at Dr. Briggs. Okay. Facts. Come on for the testimony, sir. Several others join in on breaking up the confrontation, and Edie goes behind the stage curtain. We kind of cornered him, so he really couldn't go anywhere. So he tried to lift up the curtain. There were gymnastic mats underneath, so he scurried out. All right. I was very mad. It's a special ceremony for a special night. Dr. Briggs did not deserve that. The student did not deserve that. We have a lot of people in the gym. It was very frustrating. Okay. So this is all what the principal saying. The guy was very aggressive. It was a disgusting behavior. I know that's right. With your lies. I know that's right. So you didn't know this man had this, while you got your attorney trying to call this man and offer him an apology or whatever. You didn't know they had this piece here, sir. Now, Briggs has filed a restraining order against Edie, okay, and Dane County Circuit Court Commissioner has since granted that temporary restraining order, okay? So this man cannot have any contact with Briggs until June 14th when the hearing is set, which will be tomorrow, all right? In his restraining order, Briggs stated Edie said he is not going to touch my effing daughter. The superintendent told police he did not know who the man was at the time. He said he knew of one instance where Edie's daughter had had been disciplined by the school. Oh, okay. So, all right. So if the superintendent said it, I'm gonna have to believe it. Let me step back. Okay. You probably right. All right. So he says his daughter was disciplined by the school. I stand corrected. He says, but that he had nothing to do with it, insisting that he has no idea why Edie reached the way that he did. Briggs and the school board have been under fire by a group of outraged residents. They are currently trying to recall school board president Kevin Vodock, who was at the graduation. Vodock has been accused of favoritism and providing inadequate pay and support for teachers. Briggs has been criticized for his salary and those of other administrators, while contracts awarded to his consulting firms have also come under scrutiny. Now, critics also pointed to a high turnover of staff during his tenure and student behavior problems. All right. They go on to say the school district said in a statement, our primary focus remains on celebrating the achievements of our graduates. We want to ensure that the significance of this milestone and the hard work of our students are not overshadowed by this unfortunate event. We would like to emphasize that the safety and well-being of our students, staff, and community members is top priority. Okay. So that is what's going on, girl. That's real interesting. Now, see, girl, y'all got some mess going on over there now. Now, I still feel like it was racially motivated, and I feel like whatever disciplinary action his daughter had, I do not believe that it solely fell on the superintendent, in my personal. And he says that when he sat down with the police, that his daughter was up for expulsion. I guess it was an expulsion meeting or whatever. But what ended up happening was the girl never was expelled, it seems. She continued to graduate. So why are you mad? I wonder what his daughter really did to have some type of disciplinary hearing. What was you over there really doing that got yourself tied up while the daddy's sitting over there trying to blame it on other folks? At the end of the day, whatever she went through with the district, you still continue to live in that area. You didn't pull her out that school district. You didn't put her in a private school. You ain't do none of that. And you continue to let this girl move forward, graduate from this school, and then you chose to go on to ruin her moment. If the superintendent did discipline her in any way, like I said, I do not believe it was solely on him. So I'm sure there were more than one person standing up there, including the principal, that you could have reached up and could have grabbed and moved, but you didn't. Okay, so I understand why people would feel like it is definitely racially motivated, considering the fact that he was the only black man on the stage and Bout got the highest position out of everybody standing on the stage. Hello. So, girl, this right here is a mess. I wasn't expecting it to take the turn that it took, but shout out to Daily Mail for getting all the details, because we know TMZ wasn't finna do it. Okay, y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below on everything that we just talked about, honey. I am Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, or follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jami, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like Soldier Ray. Leading my people like quarterback. But I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but you run no corner. Packing the stick.